what do you always say, Bully? All you remember is the finish, and we got a hot finish last night because, Bully, Braun Breaker once again is your Intercontinental Champion.
Yes, he is. Congratulations to Braun. I got to tell you, Dave, the moment in time, we always talk about moments in wrestling, whether it's WrestleMania moments or just moments in general. The moment of that main event was when Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu got face to face right in front of the announce table on the floor. That stare down, that walking close together, getting right there before Jey Uso came, threw himself through the ropes and dove onto the both of them. But that moment, that was the planting of a seed moment right there. You can always go back to that moment in time. You know how much I'm a fan of being able to put your finger on a moment in time when you knew that's when something started or this was the beginning of the end. You can always go back and look at that moment when Braun and Jacob were face to face, because I can see that being a hell of a feud for the WWE for years to come.
Bully, Jacob Fatu is a star. Jacob Fatu is going to be the star of this bloodline. When I look at Jacob Fatu, I think of The Rock, I think of Roman, and honestly, I think of Jacob Fatu. No disrespect to anybody else, no disrespect to Usos, no disrespect to Solo Sikoa. There's something about Jacob Fatu that screams to me main event and main event heel. You need that quintessential main event heel? That's Jacob Fatu to me. And I'm wondering, as this bloodline story progresses, how much bigger Jacob Fatu is going to stand out amongst the rest of the family.
I think that they are in an interesting position right now with Jacob Fatu. And they have to be careful, where I think that they are consciously keeping a leash on him, because at any given moment, Jacob Fatu can break out and be the star of the segment, the star of the show. Jacob Fatu has money written all over him. And when he gets to truly be what we know what he can be, as opposed to maybe the WWE's version, which they have every right to make him their version of him. But he's breakout star. He's broken out already. I always talk about people who demand the spotlight and people who command the spotlight. People who demand the spotlight are always yelling and screaming and waving their hands in the air, basically saying, "Hey, Mr. Spotlight, find me, find me." Jacob doesn't do that. Jacob just goes out there and Mr. Spotlight just finds him. He commands it. And that is a very unique quality to a professional wrestler.
And I think, Bully, what you just said is paramount here, and the fact that he's kind of already broken out, but yet we haven't seen the full potential of Jacob Fatu. Like, we've only seen just the slither of what he's capable of doing, but yet already, like you said, he's commanded the spotlight and he's grabbed your attention to the point. Now, we have said multiple times in this show, what grabbed you was the face-off between Jacob Fatu and fill in the blank. Whether it's Cody, whether it's Roman, whether it's Braun Breaker. Anybody that's standing face-to-face to Jacob Fatu, you see money written all over it.
It was really interesting last night when Jey Uso looks into the crowd. The crowd is buzzing. Something is going on. Jey Uso looks out into the crowd and he sees Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu walking down to the front row. And there's Solo in his black suit and his Ula Fala, and he's got the tickets in his hand, and Solo's like, "I got my tickets. We got our tickets." Blah, blah, blah. Like, Solo is being very, very over the top. And what's Jacob Fatu doing? Just sitting in the background, and I'll be damned if I wasn't staring at Jacob Fatu.
I'm wondering, Bully, if I would look differently on Solo if it wasn't for Jacob Fatu. Because you look at the build up towards WrestleMania 39 in LA, and how Solo interfered in that match and how we felt about Solo Sikoa being by the side of Roman Reigns. I think we were into it. We saw something special in Solo. Jacob Fatu has overshadowed Solo Sikoa in every way. Like, I look at Solo now and I feel like there's something missing because of who's standing next to him and Jacob Fatu. I feel like this Bloodline 2.0 story would be much different if it was led by Jacob Fatu. It almost feels like it's not as good as it should be because Solo Sikoa is the head of the table right now.
I don't want to say it's not as good as it should be. I want to give Solo his credit. Solo, coming up through the WWE system, taught how to stand out, but I'll take somebody who knows how to organically stand out. Like, how did Jacob Fatu make it to the WWE? It's because he learned how to stand out on the independents. He learned how to become a standout in MLW or in any other promotion that he's appeared for. I saw a clip on social media last night. I don't know what company it was for, but I saw Jacob Fatu take a Canadian destroyer from Scarlett Bordeaux. It must have been on an indie somewhere. Should it have happened? Absolutely not. Did it look amazing? Absolutely. Like, his ability to make everything he does look good. And Jacob is the son of Eddie Fatu. Am I right? Or is he the nephew?
I believe so,
the son?
Yes.
Huh?
I believe he is the son, yes.
Jacob being the son of Eddie, or directly related to Eddie Fatu, in my opinion, Eddie Fatu Umaga was the best of all of the Samoans. I'm not saying he was the best talker. I'm not saying he was the best wrestler. He was the best all around of all of the Samoans. When I saw Eddie Fatu work, there was a believability in him, a credibility, a commanding of the spotlight. Eddie Fatu was amazing. He is my absolute number one. It's not Alpha. It's not Sika, God rest their souls. It's not Yokozuna. It's not Roman. It's not Rock. My number one will always be Eddie Fatu. And that's no disrespect to those guys. I'm just saying who my number one is. And the fact that Jacob is such a reminder of him is not a shock to me. Jacob is... remember when you say head and shoulders above the rest?
Yes.
And you said that Charlotte was head and shoulders. I think Jacob has the opportunity to be head and shoulders above the rest. You know what I would have loved? If Jacob was just a little bigger, if he just had a tiny bit more size, just a tiny bit, but I don't think it's going to hold him back.
Yeah, and I don't. But you said, and by the way, Jacob is the son of the Tonga kid. So,
okay, but he's related to Eddie Fatu.
Yes. But like, I don't even, like you said about a little bit of size, I don't see that. Like, he has such a presence about him that I don't even see that. Now you see it with your eyes as a professional wrestler, as a fan. That doesn't come across to me at all. He's the real deal, man. He is the real deal. And I think when we get to the progression of this story 6 months from now, a year from now, I think the guy that is going to be standing head and shoulders above everybody else, it is going to be Jacob Fatu.
I mean, Dave, I think I asked you this last week. I'll ask you to again. Would you rather see Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa or Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu?
Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu.
But who does the story revolve around?
It revolves around Solo. But to me, because of some... Listen, we know this sometimes even with bands, Bully. Like, all right, here's the front man, but the guitar player overshines the front man. So if you lose your front man, doesn't matter because of that guitar player has all the charisma and the personality. We see that all the time. Sometimes it just happens. And right now it's happening with Jacob Fatu. And Bully, maybe some of it has been the booking, how they've booked Solo. We've seen Solo lose. We've seen Solo in the ring with Cody already. And we've seen all those things. But Jacob Fatu, it's like it's still at the what if period. What if Jacob's in the ring with Cody? What if Jacob's in the ring with Roman Reigns? There's still that what if factor. There's something waiting in the weeds when it comes to Jacob Fatu that it screams main event. There's all these, and again, these are all just rumors and speculation that The Rock may not be involved in next year's WrestleMania. There are definitely scenarios in place, Bully, that you probably don't need to have The Rock involved in next year's WrestleMania if you do it right. And I think the key in all of this is going to be Jacob Fatu moving. Here, Bully, think of this conversation we're having. Braun Breaker just beat Jey Uso for the Intercontinental Championship. And who stole the end of that show? Who are we talking about? Who commanded the spotlight? It's neither Jey Uso or Braun Breaker. It's Jacob Fatu. That's who we're talking about to start off the show this morning. That tells you everything you need to know.
Did we plan on talking about Jacob Fatu to start the show this morning?
But he made us want to talk about him to start the show.
There you go.